Hey, everybody. Fascinating chat today for some of us as we dive into the world of IT, service management, and beyond in the enterprise with Xurrent. Jim, how are you?
I'm doing great, Heaven. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining. This is an area that's undergoing a lot of change, and we're going to get into all of that. But before that, maybe introduce yourself. Who is Xurrent? A little bit about the backstory.
Sure. Well, my name is Jim Hirschauer, and I actually run product marketing here at Xurrent. People who are not familiar with Xurrent, they may be familiar with the old name of the company. We did rebrand recently. The old name of the company was ForMe, and we've actually been around for probably about 15 years and
Wow.
have almost 500 customers, mostly in Europe at this point. But recently, we did get a growth equity injection of capital, and with that, we wanted to expand into the U.S. and some other regions of the world. And with that, we decided, hey, let's figure out a name for the company that really represents who we strive to be as this new entity, as this growing, rapidly expanding entity. So the name Xurrent is actually rooted in the word current. Current is used to describe electricity, flows of air, water. It's very dynamic. And that's who we think of ourselves as a company. We are very dynamic. We had 84 production releases in the trailing 12 months. So we're
Wow.
very rapidly expanding what we do, and we're very dynamic. Now, the X at the front of the word Xurrent, that actually comes from a couple of things. First of all, we're heavily focused on collaboration. So that's what we really do as a company. We enable significant levels of collaboration across the entire enterprise operations team. But we, as a company, we also believe we're in this beautiful sweet spot of three different ways of thinking about software. We're in the sweet spot of easy, advanced, and complete. So if you did a Venn diagram with those three words put together, we'd put ourselves right in the middle where all of those cross. And that's a very rare position for most companies to be in. Most companies can live within two of those three descriptors, but usually not three. So we're in a very fortunate position to actually really enable all three things: easy and advanced and complete at the same time.
Excellent. And, talk about the mission as, the company was founded and how it's evolved. What are the key problems you're solving today versus then?
Yeah, the company was actually originally founded by folks who had deep experience in some other very large IT service management vendors. And they saw that this cloud native computing thing was becoming really important. So there was really no other products in that cloud native ITSM space at that time. So they decided, let's build a genuinely cloud native IT service management platform. So that's what they did, and our platform uses cloud native services, is built on cloud native services. So it's been that way from day one, and that enables multi-tenancy and enables data to be stored in many different locations around the world. So we have some really great functionality that enables us to operate in countries that have very strict data protection and data privacy laws. Plus, our platform is highly scalable, super fast, really flexible, super reliable. And I mentioned those 84 production releases, those feature releases in the trailing 12 months. In that same trailing 12 months, we achieved 100% uptime of the platform.
Wow.
So that's like a huge departure from what we see from other, large vendors in this space. So that's, it's a little bit of the background on the creation of Xurrent and where we sit.
That's fascinating. Yeah, we used to brag about five nines availability in telecoms, so 100% is pretty good. And how
Yeah.
else do you stand out in this space? I'm not an analyst expert in ITSM, but there are many companies who go back many decades, a lot of solutions. What's your unique, selling point, as it were?
Yeah, I've been fortunate in my career to have worked for many different companies. I've actually worked for, massive financial services companies
Mm.
on in the IT operations department itself. So I have a wealth of experience. I come out of that part of the business. And then I've worked in modern startups that are disrupting, large players in the space. And one thing that I've seen that is a constant in our space is that there's always opportunities for improvement, no matter what vertical you're in. There's always going to be new technologies that come out. There's going to be new ways, new architectures, which is one of the things that the company was built upon. But then there's going to be new technologies that come out, like AI and other things that are coming out that enable just a better overall experience. So when you've started as a newer company, you don't have to drag a whole bunch of baggage behind you, and you get to come into a space that is, that has some existing players in that space, and you get to bring innovation with you. So it's a really great position to be in. It's a very unique position to be in. And so we're doing that. We're bringing along lots of features and functionality that make life easy. And some of the benefits would be like, hey, first of all, you don't have to manage the software at all, right? It's all being managed for you. So there's no maintenance overhead. One of the common things that we hear in the marketplace for people who use competing software is that when they want to upgrade their software, it can be a bit fragile because there's typically a lot of customization built into IT service management software. So it's a really bad place to be if you're afraid to upgrade your systems, right? Me coming from IT operations, I'm like, no, we can't not upgrade. You have to upgrade. You have to keep up with the latest security patches. You're risking a tremendous amount if you don't upgrade. But if you're in a place where every time you upgrade, you're afraid it's going to break things for your end customers, that's a terrible position to be in. So, so we've seen that, people, there's a couple of things people love about us. First of all, it's that stability that I already mentioned. When we upgrade, we don't break things. Things work. It's not that we've never released a bug. We're a software company. It happens, but the system stays up and tends to be highly stable for our customers. And then there's also a couple of other things. There's like speed. So one of the other really nice advantages to having a modern architecture is you can be really fast. You can do the same types of activities that are going on in older software. You can do them much faster. I'll give you an example of this. 95% of our page loads, they happen in 350 milliseconds or less. It's 350 milliseconds. That's nearly instantaneous, right? From a human response time perspective. So that, what does that translate to? Like, what's the so what? The so what is that, I don't know if you've ever been on a call where you've been waiting for the help desk and they're like, oh, my software's running slowly and this call is dragging on, right? Well, that just simply doesn't happen. It's instantaneous response in our software, right? So one final thing I'll mention really quickly that really sets us apart is our implementation time as well. So again, I mentioned a lot of software requires heavy amounts of customization, which also includes a lot of money that you have to spend on consultants to do that type of customization work. Well, with Xurrent, we've built in 75% of what you need. It's already just built into the platform. You really don't have to do anything. You're going to get that because, again, a benefit of being a more modern, we know what most people need. We know what they're going to utilize, so we can just build that into the platform. It's already taken care of. The other 25%, which are small customizations, they get handled via potentially AI doing the work for them. And much of it is through low code or even no code implementation work. So it really, it really changes the paradigm from very long, year-long implementation of ITSM software to an implementation that can be really as short as 4 weeks.
Wow, that's unheard of. So you were the first to throw out AI. I was waiting, but I'm glad you did, because it wouldn't be a tech chat unless we talked about it. But in all seriousness, what use cases for AI? Where are you in its adoption, rollout, a Gen AI or conversational AI? And what role do you see it having in the platform moving forward?
Yeah, so we've built a lot of AI into the platform, and what we've done is we've really looked for places where we could, where our customers could gain significant productivity enhancements. So that was like first and foremost on our mind. I interact regularly with our product team, with our chief product officer, with our head of AI. We have someone dedicated as our head of AI. And the major things we wanted to do were to first sprinkle in AI where it made the most sense for the most productivity gains. And so there's a lot of places that you can do that in ITSM software. We have ticket summarizations that occur automatically. We have automatic categorization of tickets. One of the core issues that you see a lot with ITSM software is, did the ticket get properly categorized and routed to the right people? Right. And so if AI can just automatically handle that under the covers, that's a beautiful thing. That's a huge productivity savings. We have a wealth of AI functionality. And what we've done is we've built all of these underlying capabilities and culminated that in our AI virtual agent that we're actually about to release in the very near future here. So we have this virtual agent experience. You'll see a lot more about this coming up in the next month or so. It's in a beta phase right now. We're doing some testing with it, and I've seen it in action, and it's really fantastic. So think about it this way: when you, as an end user, you would normally interact with a service desk through a self-service portal of some sort. So if you're using that self-service portal, you start to chat in there, and the first line of support is the AI virtual assistant. And that virtual agent will try and figure out solutions for you, for your problem. It's going to look in our knowledge base. It's going to see if there's any pre-existing knowledge base articles that can help you. If it can't help you, if it can't get you to a resolution, it's going to go ahead and then create a ticket for you on your behalf in the system.
Wow.
And it utilizes the underlying AI capabilities that I talked about already. The other stuff that we already built, it utilizes this AI auto categorization. So it doesn't need to collect a bunch of extra information from you. So it's a very streamlined experience. So for the end user, it means that they're going to have this great experience where hopefully they'll be able to solve their problems without ever having to submit a full ticket and go through a full ticket resolution process. So it should be a much better overall experience for that end user. But for the companies that are implementing it, it also means that they're going to have fewer tickets. Their support desk, their specialists on the support desks, they're going to actually have less work to do on their own, which means that they can do more with fewer resources. So companies won't have to keep hiring more and more and more people to staff their service desk. They'll be able to utilize our technology. It's not taking people's jobs necessarily. It's enhancing the efficiency of what the company is already doing. So utilize the resources that you have, utilize them more productively, more efficiently.
Wow, what an amazing use case. Can't wait to see it in action. Let's do a demo at some point. So it looks
Sure,
like
love to.
any IT shop in the enterprise could really use your technology. But do you have an ideal sort of customer profile or industry that you're serving? Any success stories you care to call out, or anecdotes, or what have you?
Yeah, so we see success really across all domains, but we do
Mm,
focus on some. So healthcare, financial
mm,
services, higher education are a few of the verticals where we see tremendous levels of success. One of the things that's really important to our customer base is security. And I want to mention that really quickly because it's very important when we talk about AI, especially. So I did a talk at a conference recently, and it was really about the things that hold back adoption of AI in companies. And there were really three key drivers that are holding companies back. One of those is cost, another is hallucinations, but the most important is the security concerns that people have. We've seen it in the news. We've seen that AI can potentially leak private data. And
mm.
so that's an absolute no-no. If you think about healthcare and HIPAA requirements, right? You cannot leak private customer data out. And so there's a fear in the overall IT community that, hey, if we implement AI, it could potentially leak our data. And so we've taken precautions around that. One of the really interesting things that we've done is we utilize Amazon's Bedrock environment. So Bedrock is an implementation of Claude. And the security protocols are basically built in for us at that point. So there's no data used to train the model. We're using pre-trained models, so it doesn't use any of our customers' data at all for training. It is this secure environment where the likelihood of data leaking is almost zero. We can never say it's absolutely zero, right? That's just not the way it works in IT. But it's about as secure as you can get. So it's not storing our private customer information. There's no training involved with private customer data. So it's a highly secure implementation of AI. And what that's translated to for us as a company, I mentioned we have almost 500 customers as a company. We have over 90% that have turned on our AI functionality. That's a huge portion of our customer base.
Wow.
Right? It's almost all of them. So, and again, the majority of these customers are over in Europe, and there's, lots of data and privacy regulations that companies have to deal with in Europe that are more extensive than what we have in the US. So we feel like we're onto a great solution. Our customer base really believes in the security overall of our solution and our company. And they've shown that faith in us by enabling these advanced capabilities.
Brilliant. Well done. So talk about go-to-market. You mentioned you have a lot of customers. I assume you work directly with them, but also, the world is changing. You have the hyperscalers and managed service providers and outsourcers. I imagine some of them are using your platform as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Thank you for asking that. So managed service providers is another area where we really focus on heavily. We have a unique capability built into our platform, which is a trust capability. And so, I mentioned we are a cloud native platform. That means we have multi-tenant SaaS operations. It's true multi-tenancy. And this trust capability that we have built in, think of it almost like making a connection on LinkedIn. So let's say I'm an MSP and I have my different clients. My different clients can get their own instance of our software. They can use that instance of software, and the trust gets set up as a connection. Both sides agree, yes, I want to be connected. Yes, I want to be connected. That trust is built, and then those two organizations start collaborating instantaneously within our software. And that can happen for managed service providers. They can do that with their customers. They can also do that with any other downstream providers that they're using. So this really it creates the ability to nearly instantaneously collaborate, and that was this X portion of the Xurrent name, this cross collaboration. It creates that ability to nearly instantaneously collaborate across many different organizations in literally minutes, which is just unheard of in our industry.
Yeah.
It's really unique. So managed service providers is definitely one of the big areas that we focus on. And we're going to be, we have a team in the US and in Europe dedicated to, having conversations with those managed service providers. We have quite a few customers already in that space. So we're a proven entity there. And if anybody is interested in speaking to us about that, we can certainly share references and connect people through phone calls.
Yeah, great opportunity. So it's hard to believe we're already in 2025. What are you excited about? What's on your calendar for the next few weeks, months? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, so this is where things start to get really interesting for us as a company, because IT service management is one thing. We really wanted to push the IT service management industry forward, and we're very actively doing that. And we're quite honestly, we're spending a lot of R&D effort on that. But we've already made an investment in IT operations management space with a product called StatusCast. So if you've ever seen a status page, I am one of those people who goes and looks for status pages when things aren't working right for me. Many different companies provide status pages already. If you're not familiar with it, it's just a web page that shows the services that are running and what state they're in. It's kind of like red, green, yellow lights.
It's down detectors of the world. Yeah.
Down detectors of the world. Absolutely. So StatusCast, we have this premier software solution that we've connected with IT service management. And this is where things start to get really interesting for us as a company. We really want to connect incident management from the IT service management side of things with help desks and ticketing. We want to connect that all the way through to the IT operations team that's actually doing the work to bring status back up. So they might be in the quote unquote war room, the things that I used to get involved with in IT operations. We want to make sure that all of the messages, all of the information is getting seamlessly passed across all of these different tools that are involved with incidents. So let's say there is an incident, you may get a lot of users that are calling into the help desk or submitting tickets into the help desk about the same thing. Well, with StatusCast, we automatically update the status of the status page itself. So users can go and look and see if the service that they're depending on, if there's a known outage already and it's already being worked on.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, if that's the case, they don't have to go and submit a ticket. So that's going to cut down on number of tickets, duplicate tickets into the help desk. It just makes the overall end user experience much better because they can just pay attention to the status page. But then we're also branching out into more things related to IT operations management that I can't quite reveal yet, but that are going to get really interesting. So this is a huge part of our overall strategy as a company. We are going to bring these two worlds of IT operations management and IT service management together in a real-time update fashion so that everyone in the IT operations world, so that they're on the same page within the same organization in real time. We want real-time updates to everyone, right? And so we also need it to be from their different perspectives, because if you're a CIO, you have one perspective you're looking for. If you're the head of the service desk, you have a different perspective. If you're an SRE, you have a different perspective. So all of these different perspectives are going to get accounted for and updated in real time as to what the current status is.
Wow, really exciting for us IT and tech geeks. So you're really going to reshape the industry over the next few months and years. Congratulations. Thanks for joining, Jim.
Thank you, Evan. I really appreciate it.
No, exciting stuff. And thanks, everyone, for listening, watching, and sharing. Take care.